Oh man, I hope you guys are ready for this today because today's whiteboard is big. All right, let's give it a minute for people to get signed in. I need to put that over so I can see them. See who's getting in here. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, shake it out. Get ready. Get ready. Stretch. Oh, stretch. Oh, yeah. All right. Look at that. We got some people getting in here. Let's give them about 5 more seconds. All right. You guys know what that means. It is time for us to begin. So, welcome everybody to the very best part of your week. It's called Live with Jack. Hi, I'm Jack. And today I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about how to break a cold streak in just 5 easy steps. I know that this is a problem that afflicts everybody because it's a problem that's happened to me. It's a problem that's happened to Rich, to Paul, to Julius, to Stallion. No matter who you are, at some point, you have gone through a cold streak yourself. In fact, you may be in one right now yourself. And if you are, then what I highly recommend is that you not only watch this video, not only take it in and learn from it and apply all of this stuff to improve your dating life, but even more than that, if you would like to truly enjoy this and experience the highlight of all of humanity, the culmination of all of civilization, all you need to do is grab your glass, your mug, or your flask, a chalice, a stein, or even a cask. Raise it high and let's make a splash. It's time now for our libation bash. Toast the night and enjoy the mood. Together now we drink some booze. On your mark, let's not wait. It's cheers with chaps, so don't be late. Go. Cheers, boys. Fantastic. I do love that. Today I've got a nice Blue Moon. Where is Blue Moon originally from? Is that a Belgian company? I'm actually not sure. I do not know. I do not know the origin of my beer. What a sad, sad state of affairs for me. All right, let's make you guys full screen so that we get a nice, clean recording for future use. And let's go ahead and jump into today's amazing lesson. So, how to break a cold streak in 5 easy steps. If you are currently in a cold streak, you know how brutal it can be, how painful and demoralizing, how it can eat away, not just at, your physical needs, and you kind of start getting the twitch, the twitch that you get. Well, it also eats away at your mental health, at your psyche, at your self-confidence, at all of these other things. And the first thing you need to do is you need to break this thing ASAP. So, Blue Moon is Belgian. Hey, I got that one right. 3 points for Jack. Okay, so today I'm going to be teaching you 5 easy steps to go through to break your cold streak as quickly as possible and get you back on solid ground. I don't like this. This is a bit low. I'm going to try to raise it up a bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, that feels better. Oh, that feels much better. Yes. Lost a little bit of the board. Perfect. Okay, now we've got it. Welcome to my duct tape production, where everything is very well planned and very well coordinated, as you can see. However, though the production value may be low, the quality of the advice is not. So let's jump straight into it. Step one. And this is something that I imagine most guys will know. This is some advice that most people will give you if you're trying to get out of a cold streak, or especially if you've just come out of a breakup or something like that. I don't like this. This new phone stand is kind of crooked. Like if I Well, I mean, you can see that it's not quite lined. Whatever. I'll deal with that later. So some of the most basic advice that you'll get is to start going to the gym, to start working out. And that by itself is good advice, but we need to go through why it's good advice and why you're going to be pumping more than iron. You do need to go to the gym for a lot of reasons. The first is if you're going through a cold streak, or this also applies if you're just coming out of a breakup, you probably are not feeling the best right now. You are probably in a bit of a, maybe not a depression, but maybe just a funk. And you're feeling like this cloud, this malaise around you. And going to the gym is very helpful for that, because what this does is this, first of all, there is the benefit beyond the biceps of just actually increasing your dopamine, your serotonin. It starts getting you feeling good. It reduces your cortisol levels. So it gets rid of your stress hormones as well. It helps you start to feel better. Not just your body because you're going to the gym and you're looking better and feeling better, healthier, but also chemically speaking, it significantly improves your mood. That's going to be really important, because whenever you're out and you're talking to people, whenever you're trying to go out and to meet new people, or if you absolutely must on the dating apps, this is going to help you to feel that personal confidence. Another reason that it helps to build that confidence is because going to the gym is something that you can control. Most of the times, the frustration that you feel during a cold streak or after a breakup is not due to something that you could have controlled. You feel like things are out of your control, and you feel like you don't know what to do to get them back into your control. And I understand that feeling. I understand that emotion. It's extremely frustrating and it's extremely demoralizing, but going to the gym is something that is absolutely in your control. Not just the times. You get to choose the times, you get to choose the place, you get to choose how long you're going to do it, you get to choose which exercises to do, which program to follow, whatever you want to do, because it doesn't matter what you do in the gym, as long as you're doing something that is exercising you and is working your body, you're going to get all of the benefits from this stuff. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to help you feel more in control. It's going to help you feel more confident. Another reason it helps you feel confident is because you go from paunch to panache. I realize what I look like, and this may sound like hypocritical advice, but also, let's be entirely honest, I'm not in a position where I need to further elevate my confidence levels. I'm already stupidly confident. Imagine how unbearable I would be if I actually looked good. So I'm really just staying this way as a favor to you guys. That's my justification for it. In all seriousness, though, starting to look better, starting to shed some of those extra pounds, starting to physically look better, starting to grow your arms, starting to grow your shoulders, starting to actually carry yourself well. It helps with your posture. All of this stuff is going to drastically improve your own self-image, your self-confidence levels. That way, whenever you go out, you're going to have a bit of a war in your mind where your ego that's taken a bruising from being on a cold streak, from being sad and being depressed, is going to try to bring you down. But then there's the logical and rational part of your brain, which hopefully is stronger, because I've told you so many times to kill your fucking ego. But that rational part of your brain is going to be pushing back and saying, no, listen, we're in control. We're looking better than ever. We're feeling better than ever. We're going to get this thing done. Fuck you, ego. And that's going to help with your mental health a lot. On top of that, you start to develop that nice big dick swagger. That feeling when you walk into a room. No, when you saunter into a room. When you walk in and you feel like you own the place. That air about you. And that's what you start to develop through exercise, through working out, and through starting to apply that stuff to your daily life. That's step one. Step two is to stay upbeat. This is maybe the most important part on here, because a lot of guys will let their negative thoughts start bearing down on them, and they'll let things going on in their mind start to bring them down. But you cannot do that. Under any circumstances, you cannot do that. You need to find ways to stay upbeat. The way that I like to frame it mentally in my mind is I like to think of energy as an infectious thing. Energy is something that you can catch from other people. It's also something that you can give to other people. So this is a double-edged sword here, because if you get yourself around positive people, around people with good energy, around people who are hyped up and ready to go, you're going to start to feel better. But you can't be bringing in negative energy into that either, because if you do, they're going to want to kick you out, because energy is infectious and they don't want to catch your negative feelings from you. So you need to find a way to, even if it's artificial, even if it's fake, you need to find a way to control your emotional state and give yourself some sort of positive energy. One of the ways that I like to do this, that I've talked about a lot before, is state control. I use music for myself as a form of state control. I use lots of different songs. I use funk music for me personally. That one always gets me going. I like Soul with a capital S by Tower of Power. I found this amazing funk jazz cover of September by Earth, Wind and Fire by some Japanese group. It's insane. And every single time I hear it, I'm just like, yeah, let's go. I use state control on this live stream every single week. We open up with the same song every single time. Why? Because that song gets me going. It gets me dancing. It gets me moving. Oh, yeah. Oh. Something as simple as that can help you to create that positive vibe, that positive energy. It can control your emotional state and bring you up to the level where you need to be to start going out and doing things. Another thing that's going to help you is you have to bounce from bad company. That means you need to get rid of the negative influences on your life. There are some people who you really like them. You like hanging around with them. They're good guys. They're funny. They're cool to hang out with, but they're always negative. They're always complaining about this or that or the other thing, and they always seem to bring some sort of baby mama drama along with them. At least for now, you have got to kick them. I'm sorry, did a comment just pop up? I might have missed it. You're truly a music major. Yeah, okay, right. But you don't have to use music as your state control, right? If you want to put on repeat the I am the very model of a scientist Solarian from Mass Effect, you can absolutely do that if that gets you going. Or somebody singing the periodic table or whatever kind of weird nerd shit gets you and your scientist friends turned on. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Just something that gets you moving and gets you turned on, gets you feeling positive. And it's going to help you to kick out the negative people in your life. They might be good guys. They might be good friends. Might be fun to hang around with, fun to joke with. Oh, they always have the best your dick jokes or your mama jokes or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. For right now, you have to put them on hold. Put them in timeout for a little bit, because you can only handle positive influences for right now while you're dealing with your cold streak. Because remember, our top priority right now is nothing else. It's nothing else. It is 100%. Let's break the cold streak. Anything else can be put on pause for now, at least socially speaking. You still need to go to work and take care of your adult responsibilities because you are a responsible adult. And finally, this is an important mindset shift to remember. Not every no is about you. Whenever you're going through your cold streak, you might be going up and approaching girls and trying to talk to girls and trying to get something moving, anything moving, and you're just getting a sea of no. Okay, I understand that feeling. I've been there. And it can feel like, shit, there's something wrong with me. But the good news is most no's, like probably about 80% or more of them, are not actually about you. They might not even be about your approach or about your conversation or about your skills or anything else. It might just be that she's having a shit day and she doesn't have the mental bandwidth to handle a positive conversation right now. It might be that her dog just died. It might be that she just got fired. It might be that she just had a fight with her dad. It might be any number of things. A bank error, some credit card fraud scheme or whatever. You don't know. You have no idea. Everybody has shit going on in their lives all the time. We all have good and bad things. We all have ups and downs. It might even just be the weather. You have no way of knowing. But what you do know with absolute certainty is that at least some non-zero number of those no's are not about you. Which means, if you guys were watching my lesson a few months ago about how to bend reality to your will, coming back, which means that you get to choose how you view that. You know that the number is non-zero, and you know that it's not 100%. But you can choose any number in between. And since we're being positive, and since we're staying upbeat, you can choose to say it's 80% of these are absolutely not about me. Now, do I still have some work to do on those 20%? Absolutely. But I'm feeling a lot better that at least 80% of those were not about me. Or if you want, you can be one of those negative Nancys who's going to get kicked out of the group for being a little bitch and who says, oh no, they all hate me. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to eat some worms. Shut up. Doesn't help you any. It doesn't help you. So if you have the choice between something that helps you and something that objectively hurts you, choose the one that helps you. It's your choice. Choose the good one. So remember that not every no is about you. Let's move on to step 3. Persistence pays. Keep grinding. If you are currently following some kind of system, if you're currently following some kind of, like the system that I helped you build 2-3 weeks ago, whenever that was, if you're following a system like that, if you already know your types and you know what it is that you're trying to do, what you're aiming for, and how you're going to get there, if you already know all that, trust in your system. Trust in whatever it is that you're doing. If it's been working up till now and then it just suddenly stopped working, then you just need to keep going. Now, if what you've been doing until now has not been working, so therefore you're on a cold streak and you're not sure what to do next, I completely understand. I have been there before. Here's what you need to do. Instead of keeping going with what you're doing now, this is a little aside, so let's put an asterisk here. Okay. What you need to do instead of step 3 is you need to go over to realjacknorth.com right now, and you can sign up for a free call with me, where I will help you to personally build out your very own dating strategy that's going to give you the system you need, that's going to get you on the right track and help you break that cold streak as soon as possible. So if you're not sure yet what your system is or how you're going to go about doing it, go over to realjacknorth.com right now, sign up for your free call there, and I will help you get everything sorted out. However, if you already have that figured out, if you know your system, if everything's been working well up until now, and suddenly it just seemed to falter and break down, keep going. Trust in your system. Trust in what you're doing, because it has worked before. You know that this is a numbers game. And also, you know that the more no's you receive and the longer your cold streak goes, the harder it is to push through and keep getting more and more and more approaches and numbers in. So you want to end this fast. You don't want this to build up. You don't want this to snowball around you and turn you into the guy who says, like, oh yeah, I used to be good with girls way back in the day. No, you don't want to do that. Instead, you need to break out now. So go out there. Play the numbers game. Play the numbers game. you should be talking to people literally everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You go into a cafe to get a coffee? Cool. Chat with the barista. She's busy? Cool. Chat with somebody in line. You're sitting down in the cafe to have that coffee? Cool. Chat with somebody at the table next to you. You're riding the bus or subway? Cool. Have a talk with somebody there. You're walking down the street and you see an old grandma walking her dog? Cool. Start up a conversation. Ask what breed of dog he's. Doesn't matter. You need to be putting yourself out in social situations as much as possible. As much as possible. You need to be oiling those social wheels, keeping them running. And you want to put yourself in the places where you can meet the types of girls you want to meet as much as possible. So if you're looking to just hook up with somebody, you need to be going to the places where people go to hook up, right? You shouldn't be trying to break your cold streak. If you're looking for a one-night stand, don't try to break your cold streak at church. Come on, you know this. You know this. It makes sense. It's obvious. You know where to go. I don't know your city. I don't know where you are, but you know your city and you know where people go to hook up. If you don't know, ask one of your friends who does know, because somebody in your social circle knows. Oh yeah, that bar, that place is a meat market. Everybody who goes there hooks up. Here, it's not just home day, but it's specifically Thursday party. If you're on a cold streak, you need to be hitting Thursday party. Basically, Thursday through Sunday evening if you possibly can. Again, while still being responsible, while not avoiding your own personal responsibilities, but you should be out there in the meat market places, trying to put yourself in those situations, playing the numbers game. Another thing that you should do while you're working your system and you're pushing through it is you need to celebrate the small wins. Whenever you do an approach and a girl, you're just used to getting no, straight up rejected. And then a girl stops and she talks to you for 5 minutes. And then she says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you my number. I have a boyfriend or whatever else. She finds some reason. Cool. That's still a win. Why is that a win? It didn't break the cold streak, did it? No, it didn't. But it moved you closer to your goal. Not everything has to be a slam dunk to be counted as a win. If you're moving closer to your goal, then it is a win, because now you're moving up what you know you're capable of. You're increasing that confidence level that got knocked down by that sea of no's from before. So celebrate the small wins, celebrate any forward movement towards the goal. The next thing you need to do is you need to embrace experimentation. If you find that for some reason you've been trying this same line and it's just not working, or you've been trying this same part of town and it's just not working, or you've been trying these same bars and it's just not working, cool. You have no better opportunity than now to actually try changing things up. Whenever you're succeeding, when things are going well, it's really hard to convince your brain that oh, well, now's the time to change things, because you're right, it's not. When things are going well and everything's working, it's not the time to change things. However, when you're on a cold streak, you get to try all sorts of weird, fancy stuff, like different openers, different approaches, different places to meet people. You can just absolutely throw caution to the wind, because you're already in the worst possible situation, which is everybody is saying no to you, right? So, cool. Let's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. You might be surprised what you find. You might learn that even though you find yourself to be very funny and humorous, that whenever you try approaching in a serious and stoic kind of manner, girls respond well to it. Oh, well, that's a surprise. Or you might find the opposite. You might find that you think of yourself as some serious lecturer who needs to have their authority respected or something like that. And then whenever you go up and you start clowning around, all of a sudden the girls are responding well to you. Oh, well, now you've learned something. So you should absolutely embrace experimentation at this point, because you have nothing else to lose and everything to gain. Zero downside, high potential upside. Great. That's a good deal. Step 4. This is an important one. I don't know if it's you, but some of you guys out there who are watching this right now, some of you guys really need to hear this one. Desperate times does not equal desperate measures. Don't go dumpster diving. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's tempting. It's tempting. I know it's tempting. And, sometimes we call them a slump buster. The girls who at the end of the night at like 2, 3 a.m. and you're like, all right. I mean, everybody else has said no, but Big Bertha over there, she might be down for it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Because even if you do, the next day, you're going to be so sad with yourself and you're going to be so disgusted and depressed with yourself that it's going to send you back to step one, basically. Because you're going to go out and you're going to find that your confidence level has now been shot. You're going to be thinking to yourself in your mind, oh shit, I went a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, and the only thing I could get was large Marge. Oh no. Is that how far I've fallen? Don't do that. It's going to ruin your mindset. This is also one of the reasons that I don't tell you guys to use dating apps, because dating apps are incentivized to lower your standards, to ruin your psyche, to make you feel depressed, to make you feel self-conscious and worse about yourself. And that's the same thing that Big Bertha and Large Marge are going to do to you. So avoid the temptation. Do not go dumpster diving. Next, this is another important one. This is a mindset one. You need to avoid the desperation trap. A lot of guys, they start getting desperate when they're on these cold streaks because they understandably feel like breaking the cold streak is their absolute top priority, which it is, but you can't let it show. It's a secret. You can't let it show, because the second you do, you turn needy, and needy is perceived as creepy. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, about how perception is reality and how understanding how a girl perceives you is critical to understanding how she responds to you and how she's reacting to different things that you do and say. Because in your mind, you might be thinking, oh, I'm being especially nice to this girl because, I'm just feeling so nice. I'm going to throw a dog a bone, right? But actually, what you're doing is you're coming across, hey, so nobody else said yes, but maybe you will. Maybe you want to come and hang out with me. Can I buy you a drink? You're going to come across as not just needy, not just weird, but as creepy. And we all know creepy is the insult that nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to be called creepy. At least not by anybody who matters. White women don't count because nobody cares. But you need to avoid that desperation trap where you come across as needy. Absolutely skip out on that. Keep that stuff to yourself. And remember all of the other stuff that's helping you out. Remember all of these other things that you're working on. This is going to help you to create an anti-desperate mindset. This is one where because you are working out, because you are looking better than ever, because you do have that big dick swagger, because you already know that not every no is about you, because you already know that you have a system in place that works, that consistently gets you with the types of girls that you want to be with. It's just taking a pause right now. It's taking a siesta, and that's fine. You're not desperate because you still are the prize. You still are the one that they want. You just might be meeting the wrong ones right now. That's all that it is. And that's okay. And that's okay. It keeps you from getting desperate. It keeps you from getting needy and desperate and, worst of all, creepy. Now, let's move on to step 5. Operation Cold Streak Termination. We need to break this bad boy as quickly as possible. So, what is our exact strategy? How are we going to go about doing this? You, my good friend, are going on an approach-a-thon. What is an approach-a-thon, you might ask? Well, it's kind of like a marathon, but for approaches. How many approaches in one day is too many? How many is just wholly unreasonable? Absolutely, you cannot do it. 50? 50 seems unreasonable. Okay, cool. Let's bring it back a little bit. 20? It's pretty high. It's pretty high. 15. 15 is doable. 15 is doable. Because wherever you are, you're going to meet or at least see 15 people who are out and about and you find reasonably attractive, right? So remember, no dumpster diving here. We're not going for Big Bertha or Large Marge. No. You're still finding them reasonably attractive. But if you can find 15 reasonably attractive people in a day, which shouldn't be hard. If you're in a city of more than 50,000, right? Like that's a pretty small city. But if you're in a city of more than 50,000, there is a place in your town where at least 15 attractive people will go each day. At least, right? You know this to be true. And you might be thinking in your head, but Jack, I'd be making up excuses. But listen, think about it. Can you think of any place in your mind where at least 15 people, reasonably attractive people, go per day? Yes, absolutely. That's not too hard. It's not too big of an ask. You can do 15 approaches a day. If you do 15 approaches a day, serious question. If you do 15 approaches a day, how long do you think it's going to be before you break this cold streak? 4 days max, right? That 4 days puts you at 60 approaches. If you're doing 60 approaches, and if you're only getting phone numbers on 10% of those, you've got 6 phone numbers from girls. If you can follow up with 6 phone numbers, get at least 2 of those out on dates, you should be able to break your cold streak within a week if you really put your mind to it, if you really go out and do your approaches. Now, I know. You might be thinking to yourself, but Jack, I don't know how to do the approaches. I don't know how to do that. I'm in the wrong mind state. I can't do that. Okay. Are you using your infectious energy? Are you using your emotional states? Are you using state control? Are you actually hitting the gym? It doesn't have to be much. You don't have to work out for 2 hours a day. You can do a 15-minute home workout routine that Paul made for us and we posted up in the Discord. You can do that, and that'll still get you where you need to be mentally and physically. You can do something simple. You can be doing this stuff, and you still have plenty of time to be going out and doing at least 15 approaches. How long does it take you to do 15 approaches? An hour? Hour and a half, maybe? I know, it's a big commitment. Not everybody has that time to commit. But if you're serious about breaking your cold streak, there you go. There's your main answer is you need to be an absolute approach machine. You need to be going out and doing it. Bam, 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 bam. Every time you get a no, whatever, water off a duck. I don't care. Moving on to the next one. And you're just out there and you're shooting your shot and you are experimenting and you're trying different things, or you're working on your system. You're working on refining it, but you're going out and you're doing your approaches because this will solve your issue sooner rather than later. Now you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Jack. All right, cool. Here's the thing. I'm not in a hurry, really. So what if I just did 1 approach a day? How do you remember that many numbers? I don't understand. You use your phone to save their numbers, right? Am I not understanding you correctly? Are you asking like how you remember their phone numbers? Coot. At 6 to 9, the girls blur themselves together. Yeah, absolutely. And they might. Like, so what? Does it matter? Right? Like at this point, you're just shooting. You're like a machine gun. You don't remember every single bullet that fired. All you remember are the ones that hit, right? Because you're getting no. You forget all those. You absolutely will, and you should. Like you should absolutely be just doesn't matter. Oh, she's having a bad day. Oh, she's on the rag. Oh, she's having problems with her family. Whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. You don't even pay any attention to them. All you remember are the bullets that hit. You remember the ones that actually stop, give you the time of day. You guys have a good conversation. You set something up, and then you exchange the number, then you shoot the message then, right? And if you're really struggling to remember, her, here's what you do. This is a fun, easy trick. If you're doing, well, I especially used to do this when I was much younger, and I would do approach-a-thons where I would go out on a weekend and I would do at least 100 approaches in the weekend. So here's what you do is whenever you put their number in your phone, then you can save the contact and you can add a photo to it to save as the contact photo. And you say, here, we're going to take a photo together so I remember our first moment. Or, you make it some kind of joke, or you make it meaningful, or you make it like, so that we can show our grandchildren of the first time that we met, or whatever the fuck you want to say. Doesn't matter. You can take a photo together, set it as the contact photo. Bam. Now you remember who it is. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the face is all blurred together too. Doesn't matter. That's a good problem to have, right? When you're on a cold streak, if you're worried about remembering which girl gave you her number, you're on your way to breaking the cold streak. Congratulations. My advice worked. You're right. So if that's the problem that you're having, you're fine. Next. I fucking hate this one. But I'm on your side on Operation Cold Streak Termination. I will allow the use of dating apps for the purposes of breaking a cold streak. However, you need to be swiping smartly. That means you need to, first of all, before you even make your profile, you need to go into the Discord community. And if you're not in the Discord community yet, I don't know, fucking shoot me a DM or shoot me a message on Instagram, or you know what? Forget it. If you're not in the community yet, you have to sign up with me for a call, because we're not letting people in anymore from the public. So if you're not in the community yet, go over to realjacknorth.com right now. Sign up for a free call with me. If you're cool, if I think you're a good fit, maybe I'll send you an invite and you can join. Inside of the Discord community, we have a dating profiles channel in there. And you need to be getting on there, talking to those guys, because they know exactly what to do to make your profile actually work. They know what pictures you should and shouldn't be posting. They know how to fix your bio. And all you have to do to make it work is just ask. But you need to make sure that you're doing it smartly, that you're not letting it take up your time, that you're not dealing with time wasters, that you have everything set up to be as smooth as possible, and you have a system in place so that you aren't just out there floundering, drowning at sea. And finally, the last thing, once you've done your approach-a-thon and you've used your dating apps to success, great success, now you need to relish the rebound. Absolutely, ride this momentum, because not only did you break the cold streak, but you didn't have to go to desperate measures to do it. You didn't have to pay for play. You didn't have to go home with large Marge. Okay, you're feeling good. You're feeling better. You know what? I knew it. I knew I was looking better than ever. I knew my energy was infectious. I knew my system worked. I knew I didn't have to get desperate, needy, and creepy. And I knew that Papa Jack was absolutely right, and the approach-a-thon was the solution. The singular solution that absolutely solved my problem in 4 days or less. Or your money back for a free live stream. So that is your 5 easy steps to break your cold streak now, this week. It's now Thursday. Yeah, no matter where you are in the world, it's now Thursday. Which means you have until next Thursday. If you're currently in a cold streak, you have until the live stream next Thursday to break your cold streak. You want to know how to do that? Here, follow this. You're not sure what to make of some of these things, especially the system part. Maybe you don't know how to do an approach well. Cool. Easy solution. You go over to realjacknorth.com right now, sign up for a free call. get in with me. I will help you build an exact personalized strategy for you that will help you break this cold streak before next Thursday or your money back. It's free, right? But you can have it back. However, this absolutely does work. So do this stuff. Break your cold streak. Get out there and do it. All right, but wait, not yet, because we still have to get to the Q&A part of today's live stream. So don't go out just yet. Maybe wait another 30 minutes or so before you do that. Speaking of which, let's move over to the cold approach, to the cold live stream. I can't speak. I am so excited about helping you break your cold streak that I cannot even talk. But we're going to move over to the live Q&A section of today's live stream. I'd say you're missing no porn and no jerking off. I hear you, Coot. There is definitely something behind that, especially with giving you the incentive to go out and actually do your approaches. If you find that that's what you're lacking, if you find that you don't have the personal motivation to just like, get off my ass and go do some approaches, hold that nut for a few days. When your balls start getting heavy and you start feeling that like, oh shit, I gotta do something. Yeah, that'll motivate you to go out and start doing approaches immediately. That'll give you a sense of urgency and immediacy. So if what you're finding is that it's difficult to find the motivation to go out and do the approaches, hold the nut for a few days. That's going to give you some motivation. However, I hesitate to recommend that as one of the steps because some guys are going to need longer times than others. And if you hold it for that long, I'm afraid you're going to start going for the wrong types of girls. I'm afraid you're going to go dumpster diving, or even worse, start getting really, really desperate and creepy. So as far as the no porn, no fap thing, I'm not really an expert on that in that field. There are guys who do that, but this isn't really one of my personal recommendations for those reasons. However, if you find that it works for you, if you experiment with it, and you find that it's useful and helpful to you, especially in giving you the motivation to go out and do your approaches, great. Go for it. Absolutely. Give it a try because you have nothing to lose by trying it. So if you've never tried that before and you're on a cold streak right now, maybe try going no-fap for a week. See how that works for you, right? Give it a go. Anyway, let's move over into the live Q&A portion of today's live stream, and I'm going to move you guys over to the Jack Cave. Paul, you got us?
I got us.
Awesome. Where the fuck is Julius?
Yeah.
He messaged me like an hour before the stream, and he said, oh, I'm definitely in. I've got it. I'm on board. Good old Julius. Okay. Let's scoot over a bit. Get me centered up here.
Perfect.
There we go. That's better. All right. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Just a normal Thursday out here in Korea.
Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. And for those of you who joined last week, you already knew that Paul was back.
Yeah. So doing some work, grabbing some food, having some drinks. Just
a good day.
Events. Yeah.
Nice.
Just a normal day in Korea.
Excellent.
AKA a not sober day.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. So as usual, I have the questions here. One of the questions that came in is that if you've been on a cold streak for a while and you just should you then just jump onto the apps and smash the first girl who says yes, or go out every night until you can bring a girl home, or something else. And I think you talked a little bit about this at the end, like the whole kind of stop, the don't get desperate part.
Yeah.
I can understand why a lot of guys think that going the desperation route is the better way to go.
Yeah, the slump buster route.
Yeah. However, it's gonna end your cold streak, but it's literally just gonna start another one, right? Like,
Yeah.
as you said, it's gonna kill your confidence. It's just gonna put you down in the ditch as usual.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are exceptions to that. I would say I've done it myself. I've had the worst slum buster I've ever banged, and then it turned out great afterwards. However, that is rare.
Also, they still need to meet like a minimum standard, right? Whenever I say don't go dumpster diving, I'm not talking about like, oh, don't hook up with a 5. Like,
No.
5s are fine. 5s are
I'm talking about, like, I have, in my case, it was jumping on a grenade, right?
Ooh.
Like, because we were 2 people out, and my buddy was going good. Her friend was a train wreck. I was on a cold streak. Okay, fuck it. I'll just make sure he gets laid, right? That works very well. However, in that case, I knew also I didn't do this because I had to. I did this to be a good wingman or a good buddy, right?
Okay.
So,
And so
it didn't really affect my confidence in any way.
right. So you were doing it situationally, like even if you weren't on a cold streak, you still would have done it.
Yeah, probably.
Right. So the actual situation here was that you were out with a friend who had infectious positive energy, and that brought you and everybody else up.
Yeah.
And then boom, now it's all put back into place, right?
Oh, and I think that is something else you can do in this like cold streak situation is to go out with friends that have that infectious energy.
Yeah.
Don't go alone. Don't be alone. Just go out with your best wingman and just have a blast. Focus on having a good time rather than ending the cold streak, and you'll be amazed how fast that cold streak ends.
Yes, I definitely like that. Going out with your friends who have good energy is good, is very helpful. Keep a lid on the number of people that you bring with you. Because right, like last weekend on Saturday night when there were like 15 of us or something, right? Like that's not going to work out well for anybody. Now we naturally just kind of separated off into groups of 3 or 4 mostly, and like, okay, cool. Now we can work with that. But if you're in a group of 4 or more guys, then it's already too big of a group. Guys start to turn into gorillas at that point.
I would say like 4
Maybe.
is even a stretch.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 is the ideal number, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. 4 is too many, honestly. 4 is too many. To the other point there of should I take the first girl off the app, or should I just be going out to the bars until something works, right? There were 20. We may have in total had about 20 people out, but I wasn't counting the girls. However, to the thing with the app, like if the first girl who says yes to you on an app still fits your not desperation standards, right? Like she's still, you wouldn't mind being seen with her by your friends, right? She's got to at least fit that as your standard. If you wouldn't mind your friends seeing you with her, then sure, go for it. But also remember that anybody who you see on the app, take 2 points off their pictures, because that's probably the reality. So if she looks like a 6 in her pictures that are guaranteed, photoshopped, filtered, edited, all that stuff, she's a 4. And you know it. Don't do it. don't do it. If you see her taking photos with the MySpace angle, you know what that is. Do it. Don't fall for it. You're better off. Well, you're better off doing both, honestly. If the goal is ending the cold streak as quickly as possible, play the apps, use the community channel in there to make sure that your app is fire, because guys like Paul and Brandon and Julius in there, they will help you make sure that your profile works. And use the apps during the day, hit the bars at night, be approaching during the day as well, right? There's no excuse to not do digging. You know what? Forget it. Forget what I said about the apps. You're allowed to use the apps when you're pooping. That's about it. That's about it. Honestly, that's more than enough, right? That's more than enough. How long does it take you to get through, like, how many free swipes do they give you a day now? Like 3? Something stupid, right? They keep on making it worse and worse and worse to use.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, if your profile is set up correctly and you're doing what you should be doing anyway, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes a day to max out whatever chances you have on the apps.
Yeah.
The only way it would be bad, like the whole 5 minute thing on apps, is as long as your profile is public. And if your goal is to end end your cold streak, why isn't it, right? However, you shouldn't need to be paying for anything whatsoever. The only reason to ever pay for an app is if you want, and we're getting to this in a little bit, it is about going abroad, which is a very important, like a very reasonable thing to use it for.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of using the apps. For pipelining, I'm on board with you on that, right?
We will get to that.
There's nothing else you can do there.
Yeah. I think we wrapped up that one pretty well.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to move on to the next one. This is specifically for you. Is when you're coaching students, like, what is the typical, like, the denominator you notice when students are on a cold streak?
They're not doing their approaches. Like, that is what it comes down to every single time. They're just not, and they're not putting themselves into the right places, right? What I've found, and this is a secret, right? Because if anybody finds this out, they won't sign up for my coaching. All that it takes to actually fix most problems is put yourself in the right places to meet the right girls and then actually do the approaches. That's the secret. That's all that it is, right? That's all that it is. But everybody feels like, but Jack, you don't understand. My situation is different. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I mean, like, I'll help you. We can work on this. Obviously, my time costs money, but you know how to fix this yourself. I like using couch surfing to find travelers in Seoul and then showing them out in a home day. Yes, absolutely. Is that Stallion? Is that Stallion joining us on the live stream?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Stallion, what's up, brother? How are you, man? I missed you. We got to talk soon. We have a lot to catch up on. Anyway, yeah, couch surfing is really good for that. Another cool thing about couch surfing is that they have regular couch surfing meetups, but I think couch surfing is, you can't use it for free anymore, isn't it? I tried looking on it the other day with one of my clients, and I wasn't able to log in and actually use couch surfing unless I gave a donation. But it's not a donation if it's forced, right? Anyway, couch surfing, maybe have a look at it. If you find yourself on a cold streak right now, it's a resource worth looking into. Other things, finding the events and things that are happening in your area using meetup.com, using Facebook groups and events. As much as I abhor Facebook and I hate everything that it is and stands for, it's still by far the best social media platform for actually finding groups and events in your area. I don't know why every other platform doesn't have something like that, but Facebook is the way to do it. Or Meetup or Couchsurfing or whatever else, or whatever the kids are using these days, you new kids on the block and your right stuff. Anyway, what was the question? Oh, yeah. Doing the approaches, putting yourself in the right places, doing the approaches.
Yeah, there's one more thing that I've noticed. Like, so I know most of your students, right? Like, I'm out here a lot, and
yeah, you know the ones in Korea for sure. Yeah,
especially the ones here. And one thing I frequently see with them is that they tend to get in their own heads a lot. They get into this, like they have been building up this mindset, like, okay, this is gonna go well, like this works, and then they start to question it. That's usually when their cold streak starts. Like when you start kind of questioning the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a big part. One of the things that I like to advise all of my students to do is I give them a pocket jack, and I just say, cool. Imagine that there's a little miniature jack. He's about this size, and he sits on your shoulder. And whenever you aren't sure what to say, ask Jack, what should I say? And then whatever that little pocket jack on your shoulder tells you to say that thing. And if you ask that pocket jack, was that my fault? Whatever pocket jack tells you, it's probably right. And you know what? You're going to find that pocket jack has really infectious energy, and it's really positive. You know why? Because Jack is really infectiously positive. You've not ever heard me say negative things, unless we talk about white girls, but that's a different subject altogether. However, you've never heard me talk negatively. Why? Because I don't think that negative talk works. I don't think that negative reinforcement works. I don't think that beating yourself up over missed opportunities or anything like that works. So I always come back with positive reinforcement. Let's look at what you did right. Let's focus on doing more of that. Okay, cool. Now, these other things, how can we improve on those? How can we bring them up to the same level as these other parts of your game, right? Listen to your pocket jack. Because if you've been listening to me for, I don't know, more than a month, right? If you've been listening to me for more than a month, then you already have a concept in your head of who I am and what I say and how I talk. And you know what that little pocket jack is going to say to you every single time. So use that. Because that'll help to keep you positive. It'll help you from getting into your own head, except that, you're talking to an imaginary version of me sitting on your shoulder like a crazy person, but that's okay. I'm giving you permission. To be a little bit crazy. It's all right. Let's move on to the next question. What you got for me, Paul?
The next question is for the panel, which is just me today, which is, what have been the reasons you guys have had cold streaks in the past, and what did you do to overcome them? For me, my longest cold streak in the past 6 years was after a breakup. It was caused by a situation where I wasn't sure if we had broken up or not, so I was just an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
And that is technically when I met Jack.
Not just technically, that is when you met me, right?
Yeah. Well, I met you a couple of months later, but
a couple of months into the cold streak.
Yeah. So what I did to overcome it is literally the story I mentioned before, right? We were out here, we were just partying our asses off, having a blast, high energy, just being a social leech, like just sucking up the energy, converting it into my own while I was here. And eventually just, one of my buddies, he can get laid, but this other girl is trying to block him very hard that particular night, probably every weekend after that too. But then I was like, I've done it once. That only happens once. But anyway, it led to a situation where, I can save my friend if I just do it. And the thing
So
is,
that was your grenade?
that was my grenade. That was the first one that broke that one. But from there, it's like, okay,
Now we're set.
now we're set. Like, now
Yeah.
we just keep the energy, but focus it in the direction that I want it to go.
Exactly.
And then the ball started rolling. A month later, I had a harem, and yeah, take it from there.
Worth noting that during that time of learning and of extreme fast personal growth, you were under my coaching tutelage.
Yeah.
And Julius was helping as well. And so again, having that help and having people who are positive, who are high energy, and who can bring you up rather than tearing you down, rather than saying, oh, you suck, oh, why aren't you doing this, why, or anything like that. People who bring you up and actually make you better at everything and help you focus your energy in the right direction. It's super useful.
Definitely. In that time period, I went out 4 days a week, no matter how I was. If I'm feeling tired, doesn't matter. Go out, go out, go out, go out.
Yeah.
After the month, we finished the coaching, we kind of got me to a stable point. I was like, okay, now I got to challenge myself. Now, like, I got to take everything that I've learned while I was breaking this streak and just getting back to myself and just take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Right. So I went for like the whole 30 days, 30 dates challenge, right? And we just went balls out for a month and just tried as best as possible to make sure you had a new date every single day, get them all lined up, rack them down as many as possible, right? And then from that point on, it was never really a problem anymore. Like, just decided the girls that I wanted to keep around, and then had fun for a while. And then eventually I chose one girl from the harem and dated her for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what you should do. Oh, Stallion has to leave. It's so sad. You're gonna make me cry, buddy. I was just so excited to have you here. But thanks for joining anyway. Anyhow, let's jump on to the next question.
Yeah. If each of you had less than 24 hours to break a cold streak and you were in a new country with no contact, what would you guys do?
Okay. Do I have any time to prepare?
Well, you have 24, in 24 hours, you're flying to a country. Let's say Japan. Like, you're going to Japan tomorrow.
I feel like, okay.
In your case, that is.
I feel like the spirit of this question is,
okay. In this,
I've just gotten off the plane in Japan, and as soon as I turn my phone back on, I get a breakup message. Okay. Cool.
Now, I don't think that, because in that case it would be very different. I would say you're going.
Yeah, it would. It definitely would.
Okay, you're going to a new country. You're on the flight. You've been on a cold streak. How does you haven't done any preparation? How does the first 24 hour look like? I think that's the best way to do it.
Okay, cool. First thing I'm doing is I'm buying Wi-Fi on the plane, right? Like, I don't normally do that because what a fucking waste, and they overcharge for it. But neither here nor there. In this situation, I'm buying Wi-Fi on the plane, and I'm getting on there, and I'm setting my dating apps up as well as I possibly can from there. And I'm calling in favors in the community, and I'm like, guys, I'm landing in 2 hours. I need a profile set up yesterday, and I need this thing to be fire. Community is going to respond. They're good at that. They're going to help out. They're going to help me get everything set up. I want to have not just a profile set up, but I already want to be on there and be swiping in that location while I'm on the plane. Whenever I get off, first thing I'm doing, I'm walking around and I'm swiping and I'm messaging. I'm trying to get things set up immediately. I'm taking whatever sort of transportation is necessary to get to, my hotel that I'm staying at, to drop my bags off, because you're not going on a date with your bags still. You haven't done your check-in yet or anything, right? Have that stuff done before you actually go on the date. But you should be, if you're on a train, right? So if you land in Japan, you're going to need to take the train to wherever you're staying. Doesn't matter what city you're in. You're going to take the train to wherever you're going. Cool. While you're on the train, if there's anybody even remotely attractive on there, you're talking to them, you're chatting with them, and you're getting to know them, and you're asking them like, hey, so listen, I just landed here today. I don't know anything about the city. I want you to tell me, where is the best spot in town? Where are the coolest places to hang out? Yeah. Now, I have a really, really big favor to ask of you. Can you show me? Because I'm probably going to get lost, like I just got here and I don't know my way around. How about you come with me? I'll tell you what, I'll make it up to you. Okay. I'll buy you dinner first, and then you can show me out to the coolest places in town. Okay, cool. My goal is to set up a date while I'm on the train and set it up for that night. I'm swiping. I'm using the dating apps. I'm talking to people on the train. I'm talking to people on the street. I'm talking to people in the station. I'm playing up the dumb foreigner card. Absolutely, 100%. Play into it. Be like, oh, I don't even know how to buy tickets. Oh, can you help me? Oh, that's so cool. How do you always know which buttons to push or whatever? Oh, because I'm from here. Oh, well, that's really cool. Did you grow up in this town? No, I didn't actually. I grew up here. Wow, that's really. And you start a conversation. You keep that going. Say, you know what? I have a question for you. Do you like beer or do you like wine more? Oh, you're a whiskey girl. Okay, well you're a girl after my own heart. Where's the best whiskey bar in town? All right, I want you to show me this whiskey bar. I'll tell you what. First round's on me. Whatever kind of whiskey you like, but you have to come and show me where it is. Awesome. Cool. I would be out there absolutely just risen everybody I see. Because if my goal is break this in 24 hours or less, if I must, I will do 100 approaches in 24 hours. If that's what I need to do to make this happen, I am approaching literally everywhere. One of the things that I learned while traveling around the world is that actually two important things. One, everybody wants to help foreigners, no matter where you go. America's iffy, depending on where you are in America, right? But if you're in a touristy area of America, people will be helpful for sure. Everybody wants to help foreigners. And two, nobody ever gets mad at you for hitting on them, for trying to get a date. Nobody gets mad at you for trying, unless you come off as creepy. If you come off as desperate, creepy, needy, that kind of thing, they might get annoyed. They might get creeped out and just like run away. But nobody gets mad at you for it. And so, again, like I was saying earlier, where you have two options, where you've got like zero potential loss and very high potential gain, you should be doing that thing all the time. So do your approaches. Do your approaches always. That's the honest answer. I would be swiping. I would be doing the approaches. I would be chatting with the girls at the check-in at the hotel, right? I'd be like, by the way, you seem really cool. You seem like you know the area well, right? Yeah. Listen, got a question for you. What time does your shift end? 10 o'clock? That's perfect. I heard that the bars get popping here around 10 o'clock. Tell you what, you show me the coolest bar in town, I'll buy you a nice gin and tonic, something, right? Like, I would be flirting with literally everyone, everywhere I go. You can end that in 24 hours.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, sure.
it would take concerted effort and infectious energy. Like, you would have to already have all of those other systems that I talked about earlier. You need to have those in place. If you want to bust this thing in 24 hours or less, you would need to have steps 1 through 4 already set. And then you just pound step 5 like an absolute champion.
Definitely.
What do you think, Paul?
I would change the strategy a little bit because me and you are a little bit different.
Sure.
For me,
Keep
like hitting on girls in the train would be a pretty much no go, simply because it doesn't come very well off when, or at least it doesn't feel like it does come very well off.
Pussy.
Yeah, of course, sure, you can call me that, but my strategy would be very similar to you. I would start already on the plane with the apps. Like, I would get on there, just start swiping, and just try to get at least a couple matches before I even land. However, the thing I would do differently when I land is that I would go straight for a taxi. And the
You
reason
go straight for what?
I would go straight and get a taxi. And the reason for that is I would try to look for a taxi driver that is maybe around my age or a little bit older. And my first question would be, so I want to go to this hotel, take me there. And then I would follow up with, okay, so what is the typical like hookup area of town? Like to just like where do most people go to hook up? Like pick up people, stuff like that. Where are the cool pickup bars?
Uh-huh.
And the next question is which bar area in town is the most foreigner friendly? Because I can guarantee you the taxi driver knows. So what I would do is I would have him drive me to the hotel. I would check in, leave my bags, whatever, and I would tell him, yeah, you just wait here. I'll just check in, put my bags in my room, and then I'm coming back out, and you drive me to the foreigner friendly area of town. Because that is definitely where I would start trying to pick up girls. Because that works well with who I am. Like then I go to play where I know I can play to my strengths. I will find it out very fast. And if not, I can always check in on my phone to see, okay, did I get any matches? Can I work with this? And then it would save me, it would probably take me an hour or two longer than you before I would start to talk to girls. But at that point, I would already be in the right place, talking to the people that are most likely to kind of already be on the same path that I want them to be.
I like a lot of the things there, but I'm working under the assumption that even though you haven't planned beforehand to set up dates, I'm working on the assumption that you've at least chosen a good location for your hotel, right?
No, I'm working on the assumption that I'm just showing up without any knowledge whatsoever.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're showing up without any knowledge, if you're literally showing up with zero preparation, then you would just like you said, like get a taxi and be like, right, take me to where young people go to party and hook up and do things that they don't want their parents to know about, and take me to a hotel there. And then you would just go and like get a spot there, right?
Yeah.
Because logistics are the most important thing. So I was working on the assumption of like when I visited Tokyo, I was hanging, like I got my hotel nearby the party districts. I got a place down in Roppongi. When I visited Osaka, I got a place like right on the river in the Dotonbori area, right? Like I want to be where the energy is. So I was working on the assumption that you already knew where you wanted to be and that you set your hotel up there. And which bars, like as a general rule, I wouldn't go to a taxi driver for advice on like, yo, where are the hot bitches who suck dick, right? Because he probably doesn't know.
But he also knows, like he doesn't know, but he doesn't know, like probably not know exactly which bars it is, but he definitely knows where the young people go to party.
Right, the area.
Yeah, because that's where he drives 95% of his nights, right?
Sure. So if you at least had, if you had zero preparation, then you go there and you find an empty hotel room there or an empty Airbnb there. You can look on your phone, find one on your way there. Or if maybe you're there on like, I don't know, a business trip, so you have to be in like the business district for your hotel because it's provided by your company or whatever, then fine, you can work with that strategy, with the taxi driver strategy. That can work well. This is very dependent on your situation. Like the more we talk about it, the more I realize this is dependent on your situation. But
yeah, of course it is.
Last November when I went to visit Osaka, I went there one day before Lady North, and I literally did all of these things. Now, I wasn't trying to break a cold streak. I wasn't even trying to hook up, but I just did what comes naturally to me, which is just social butterfly, baby. We'll talk to everybody. Yeah. Right. And so I immediately started chatting with girls in the station, started chatting with girls on the train. As soon as I got off the train, checked in at the room, got a girl at the local jewelry store to like take a break from the store to help me find the room because I couldn't find it. Right. And then like I was like, okay, cool. Now it's only like 4:00. Do you know of any places that are open for drinking right now? And she's like, yeah, listen, you go down that way. There's this street drinking bar. I'm like, you're my hero. Awesome. Went down there. I did a live stream there with the girl from the street drinking bar.
I remember her.
Yeah. And then she was like, okay, listen, here's what you do. From here, you're going to go down this street. You're going to go down this way, follow these directions. You're going to go to this cool bar. This is where only the locals know. And I went down there. And that's where I partied all night with these Japanese MILFs who were absolutely DTF. One of them walked me back to my hotel room and offered to walk me up to the room. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. But all that it takes is just that energy, that thing.
So, but I think for a lot of guys in the community and watching this stream specifically, like, you have a completely different energy level than absolutely most of the rest of the planet. So for a lot of us, that can be very, very difficult.
Fair enough. But
so it's a very important thing to figure out, like, how does your energy level deal with that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that is finding the guys that are like you. Or luckily for me, most of my friends are just like you. So we have Jack here, which is an energy bomb out of this world. Then some of you guys know Julius, which is also quite high energy.
Yeah.
And then you met my Norwegian friend Kim, which is also very high energy. And like I've centered myself around this. So unless I go traveling alone, which I prefer not to, unless I go here, because I know that when I go here to Korea, I have my energy bombs here.
Yeah.
I have those energy clusters around wherever I go.
And I feel like the spirit of this question is if you have nothing.
Exactly.
But right. So you're in a brand new country. You don't have any friends on the ground here. You don't know what you're doing.
Then why are you there? And I think we can wrap it up around that, because I think if me and you are going to keep talking about this, we're going to talk long until tomorrow. I think we can move on to the next question.
Sure, let's do that.
So how do you improve yourself when every approach and the responses of each girl is different? And I think that it comes from a sense like you do a lot of approaches, but you struggle to categorize how the responses are, because they are all a little bit different. They all respond a little bit different to you doing slight adjustments in what you do.
Words mean nothing. Pay attention to their body language. Pay attention to how they react to things that you're doing, things that you're saying. If every time that you do an approach, they go, oh, and like, okay, cool, you're coming out way too strong, right? I mean, I've been there, right? Like I've had that.
That sounds like my approach weekend.
Yeah, okay, right. Well, and that was intentional, right? We were specifically trying to go over the top for training purposes. But if everything is coming across as shocking or scary to them, then you're probably coming off too strong, too fast. Okay, cool. Pay attention to the body language. If they're talking and they're like, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Tell me more. But they're like turning their bodies like they're getting ready to run. Okay, don't listen to their words. Pay attention to what they are communicating to you. I've talked about this a lot. Your words are only about 7% of your communication, right? People severely misunderestimate. I'm going to do a George Bush here for you. People severely underestimate how important tonality and body language are. Take a simple sentence. I didn't say he hit his wife. That's a very simple sentence, but tonality changes everything about that. I didn't say he hit his wife. 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 I didn't say he hit his wife, right? Like tonality changes every single one of those sentences.
I also think it's a very important thing to remember is that for guys, words have a higher stand for a higher amount of the communication that it does for girls.
Yeah, but
when we say something, we can mean exactly the thing that we actually spoke, and that's all there is to know about it. But for girls, they will see everything else you do.
Yeah.
And then they will like blur it out. While the other way is like the words that actually come out of their mouth means about this much, and then the rest is their body language says it all.
Exactly. The actual words they're saying don't matter. You have to hear all the rest of it. Because if somebody, here, this is to the very point. If somebody says, no, stop it. Or if they say, no, stop it. Polar opposites, right? Listen to what they're communicating to you. Look at their body language. Look at their smiles. Look at their eyes. What are they doing? Are their eyes focused on you? Are they actively paying attention to you and responding to you? Or are they looking around for a way to escape? Are they turning their bodies towards you? Here, let me angle towards the camera. Towards you and making themselves open and available to you? Or are they kind of turning away and getting ready to run? What are they doing? Pay attention to these things, because that makes a massive difference in understanding how they're responding to you. Now, this question is a little bit difficult because no matter what you're doing, different girls are going to respond to you differently. Of course, because some types of girls are going to really be into your style of game, or maybe they'll be really into your look. And some types of girls are going to be totally put off by you, right? So notice those patterns and either fix your approach so that it works for the girls you want, or if it's working for the girls you want, stop approaching the girls that aren't interested in your style, right? Like, fixing your game and improving is not just, actually, it's very little about fixing the words that you say.
It's about fixing who you say it to.
Huh?
It's about fixing who you say it to.
It's about fixing who you say it to. It's about fixing your targeting. It's about fixing how you present it. It's all of this other stuff, and it's usually not the content of your words, unless you're going up and your opening line is like, what's your favorite Star Trek? Because I would give you a 7 of 9. Right? Like, unless your content is just so nerdy or so off-putting that they just can't handle it, if they even get it, right? Like, God, how long ago was 7 of 9 a thing? That was like early 2000s or late 90s, maybe?
7 of 9 is from Next Generation, so that was like 86.
Was she Next Generation? For some reason, I was thinking she was Deep Space Nine.
No, she's from Next Generation.
She's from Next Generation. Oh, 7 of 9. For some reason, I had drawn a correlation there with the 9s. No, you're right. You're right. She's Next Generation. Fuck. Yeah. So probably the girls that you're hitting on aren't going to get that reference. Yeah, like
Coot is correcting us. We're apparently both wrong.
what was it? You're both wrong. Well, you can't just say that. You got to follow it up. Coot, we're fucking waiting. Whatever. All right, no Star Trek trivia for you today. Anyway, the point is that the content usually isn't the problem. Because if you're worried about what to say on the approach, I've already told you the approach that works best, no matter where you go in the world, no matter what your situation is, no matter what you look like, no matter who you're approaching, it's very, very simple. It's just, hey, my name is Jack. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Well, I'm a nerd, so it was in 1997, and it is in Voyager.
Voyager! That's what it was. Thank you. Okay, so I was right about the time frame, late 90s. All right. Anyhow,
yeah, I can say I was 5 years old.
I can't. Anyway. So yeah, you can improve your game. Usually it's not by fixing your content unless it is that far out there. But usually it's maybe it might be changing your body language, right? Here's a simple example for you. Hold on a second. I'm going to need to stand up to demonstrate this better.
I can demonstrate a body language thing just sitting the way I do now.
Well, yeah.
That is a very typical thing that I do whenever I go out.
Go for it.
So right now you can see me sitting quite open and like receiving, right?
Yeah.
While normally if you see me walking on the street or just sitting in a bar, you will see with my arm crossed, legs crossed, kind of closed off instead of open and receiving. Like, I am here, talk to me, let's figure this out, let's keep the conversation here rather than here.
You want to open up, of course. Yeah, you want your body language to be open.
Oh, and another thing, and this I'm going to take from an example that I experienced this week.
Good.
Where we had me and Julius. I'm not going to mention who the third person is. We were out. We met some girls. We were talking. We brought them back to our table. We were sitting there talking. Me and Julius were talking to one girl and like entertaining the mother hen and then leaving the other guy with the other girl. And the girl mentions the other guy is so shy. Why? Like, and yeah, we know that because we know the person.
Sure.
And the reason she can read it just from his body language is because he was talking like this. Trying to like hide the face, like just shut out, like, yeah, it's a very, very bad.
Yeah.
So we like afterwards, of course, we brought it up and like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the excuse is, yeah, my breath is bad. Yeah, doesn't fucking matter.
Get some fucking gum, man, or just down some drinks, or get a mojito, right? Like, get something that changes it.
Yeah, so we figured like, okay, then let's use this experience to teach him like this is not something you do.
Yeah. So to body language, and the reason that I had to move the camera and stand up is because I was working with a client the other day, and this is something that I've seen multiple times before, so I'm not calling him out specifically, but what he was doing whenever he was talking is he had his hands down here and he was talking like this, or he was doing, things like pulling on his fingers, and he was like kind of swaying his body a little bit like this, like doing nervous things. So what I told him is I was like, look, here from your titties to your shoulders, this is home base for your hands. Whenever you're talking with somebody, you want all of your hand gestures to be about here, somewhere between the titties and the shoulders. And then that's where that's your home base. From here, no matter what you're talking about, doesn't matter. You're using your hands to talk. It helps people come in a bit more. It helps you create more physicality so that even though right now you can't see my eyes, you can't see my gestures very well, you can understand me a lot better because I'm using my hands to talk with you, right? This helps bring people in. So this is your home base right here, is with your elbows bent, hands a little bit loose. They're not stiff, right? But you don't want them down here because this looks really uncomfortable. This looks like a 5th grader who's come in for the school pictures once a year, and he's like, oh, fuck it, my mom just combed my hair. Well, I have to sit here. Like, you don't want to be there. You definitely don't want to be here.
There is actually another psychological reason to why it is very natural and it's more welcoming and less scary when someone talks with their hands up. And that is literally because they can see your hands.
Right. Yeah. You're not holding a weapon or anything.
Exactly. And yes, in humans, it's subconscious. If you try it with animals, you will see the same reaction, but they will not be friendly to you unless you show your open hands.
Right.
And that is that, okay, what are you hiding from me? Like if you're standing like this, okay, what am I hiding? If I'm standing like this or talking like this, I show you very clearly that I'm not hiding anything, right? Like I'm open to you. I'm actually making myself vulnerable.
Sure.
There is a second thing that's quite interesting to this kind of like body language psychology. And I think when I explain it now, every guy in here that's watching is going to go like, yeah, that's right. Whenever you see a friend on the street that you know, and you, at least you know him a little bit and you trust him, you do this. Like you nod your head upwards, exposing. If you do someone, you know them, but you don't really feel comfortable around them.
You give them the downward nod.
Exactly. You did it before I said it. And the reason for that is because I trust you, I will nod up, exposing my neck.
Interesting.
It is very interesting, which is also why, in the same sense, a lot of girls think that guys that have their chin up rather than down looks more confident because we are more exposed.
Right.
We feel safe being this exposed.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting,
actually. Bring it.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, yeah.
And like until I read this the first time, like I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Right?
Yeah.
Of course it's like that.
Yeah, of course.
But until I'm like, it is a subconscious thing that every guy does, but no one really knows why.
Yeah. Well, you do. And now we do too.
Yeah.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe! Next
question. How do you push through and continue approaching when you're not motivated and when you've tried to work, like, and you're tired from work from 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or 8 to 7, whatever working hours in the country?
State control is a very big part of it. Learning how to put yourself into the right emotional state is very important. Creating energy out of nothing is basically state control. But energy leeching is also very useful. So finding other high energy people, like finding a local jack or something like that, can be very helpful. Or finding the right bar or venue or something like that that gives you the energy that you need, right? Like there's a good reason that we always start off at Corner Pub, right? Why is it?
Because it gets us in the mood.
It gives us the energy, right? Corner Pub has until about 11:30, 12 o'clock when the other foreigners find it. It has the right energy, and we love it there. Like it gives us what we need. So experiment with it. Find a place that gives you the right energy, that brings you up. Also, this is another very important thing that I don't talk about enough, because this isn't really a thing that I have to deal with personally that much. And I don't mean this as like a brag. It's just so I don't think about it and talk about it very often. But having ways to let out your stress in a safe and accepted way, right? So depending on how you deal with stress yourself, if that's going to the bar, right? If that's going to a rage room, if that's going to, in Japan they have these amazing little soundproof megaphones that you can scream into to relieve stress. For some people, it's going to like karaoke or like norebang, things like that, where they let out their stress by singing. For some people, it's running, it's exercise. Finding something that works for you so that you don't get that stress build up. I understand that at the end of a day of working a long hours, something like that, I understand you can come out and you can feel frazzled. You can feel, like this fucking sucks. I fucking hate this. Just as long as that doesn't build up, you have a way to bring that back down regularly and safely. That's going to help you a lot. Another thing that can work really well when I was working shit jobs before, I used this a lot. Is I would compartmentalize two different versions of myself, right? So there was like work Jack, and then there was not at fucking work Jack, right? And work Jack had to deal with all of this bullshit and had to deal with all of this stuff. But as soon as I was done, as soon as I walked out the doors, I just like changing clothes, changing a mask, and I just be like, okay, cool. I'm not work Jack anymore. I don't have to worry about that shit. Who gives a fuck? That's future Jack's problem, right? I'm gonna party. I'm gonna be hungover tomorrow. Sounds like work Jack's problem, and fuck that guy. Like genuinely viewing myself as two different people may not be the most healthy thing in the world, but it can work. Experiment with it. Find what lets you control your mood and state in a way that works for you. Another thing that I do to relieve stress or to relax, I still love playing video games, right? And for me, that's a great way to just like, cool. You know what? It's Tuesday night. Nobody's fucking out. I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm gonna go and use tonight to decompress, to de-stress, to let turn my phone off entirely. Let everybody else just wonder where the hell is he tonight? What's he doing? Doesn't matter. Not your fucking business, right? And seriously, find things that work for you. I turn my phone off regularly, or I put it entirely on silent or something like that. If I need to, for my own health, for my stress, or if I'm just like, fuck it, I'm on vacation today. I didn't tell anybody, but fuck them. I'm dealing with me, not them. You are always your top priority, not somebody else, not your company, not your friends, not even your wife or your kids or anybody else, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help other people. It's like being on an airplane, right? You put on your own oxygen mask before you help somebody else. Same thing here. You find ways to take care of yourself, and then you're able to help other people. You're able to deal with other stuff. You're able to go out and do the approaches, whatever else it is that you need. So those are some of the different strategies that I've found throughout the years, and work with those and come up with your own as well, because there are people a lot more neurotic than me who have been dealing with this for longer than I have. So I may not be the best source for that because I'm usually just pretty happy-go-lucky. What do you think, Paul?
Well, I have three things that I do very consistently, and I think a very important thing in, at least for me in life, is to stick to routine.
Okay.
When everything goes to shit, you revert to your routine. For me, that is cold showers. That is the first thing I do. It can be before I go to work if I have had a shitty night's sleep. It's after work if I had a bad day at work. It's just that is the thing that I need to just reset my
That's
day.
a reset. Yeah.
That is just okay. Now, new day. Every time I take a cold shower, treat it as a new day. The other thing, of course, yeah, just like you, video games. Playing games, screaming at the screen for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Perfect. Uh, the last thing that I do, which is I've mentioned it before, and it works really, really well for me. And this is what I do to motivate myself to do anything. So I have created my own like kind of arch nemesis. I've created a like literally I spent probably 2 3 days just writing down what this person is. And to avoid it being any other person, I have made myself an evil clone. The difference is this clone has everything that I would ever want. So whenever I find myself lacking motivation, I just tell myself, yeah, but my own evil clone would do this. Because if I don't do this, it's gonna be shit. It's gonna go bad. I'm gonna keep being sad. I'm gonna keep feeling down, or uh, like I did when I started. That was the reason I started my company. Like it's
So,
just
so
my
you're literally playing a real life everyday version of if you don't do it, then the terrorists win.
yeah, exactly. Literally do that. And the thing is, once you get into that mindset that you have this person that is a copy of yourself, but he just has it so much better,
Mhm.
and he has all the things you really, really want, you start to plan in your head, how can I get to be that person? Or it is as close to that person as I can be.
But
And then
because
what
you're
choices?
not the evil clone.
Yeah. So what choices have that clone made to
Mm.
get over this? In this situation, would like if I feel shitty one day and don't want to go to the gym,
Mm.
yeah, my clone who has a ripped ass body and just looks amazing, yeah, no matter how bad he feels, he would still go to the gym. Right? You get into that, okay, but fuck it. That guy would do it, so I will do it. And it's kind of a way to kind of do like a reflected blame on yourself for not doing shit.
Yeah.
But it works so fucking well to keep you motivated and just keep pushing on.
Yeah.
The thing is, you need to describe this person. Like, you don't say, like, this person has like 7 things. No, you need to like make a list of like, this person is like this whole person. I think I wrote down this, like, what this person is in like maybe 20 pages or something.
Yeah.
The confinement of this person.
Okay. That's
Really like wide character descriptions, and like this is how this person works, this is how he thinks, this is what he does, and all of those things like help pushing myself to kind of always try to take the next step.
That's interesting. So I did something kind of similar, but instead of creating an evil twin, I just recreated myself. Like, for those of you who know me well or have been through my coaching or anything else, then you probably already know that Jack is not my passport name. So whenever I first started my blog, whenever I first created the Soul Player, I created Jack. Now Jack is one of my middle names, and so there was an inspiration based on truth. So basically, it was like a seed of truth wrapped in a nugget of what do I want to be, or rather, what would Jack be? And so I did something kind of similar, where I created this version of myself who was better than me in every way, who did all the right things, who was always, active and outgoing and enjoying life and eternally positive and all that. And so the version of me that you guys have met is literally a creation of myself. This is not the same person that I was 10 years ago. I mean, I know nobody's the same person they were 10 years ago, but my change was intentional. And every time that I wanted to, say not go to the gym, every time that I literally quit cigarettes because of this. Because I was like, Jack doesn't smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes stink. Jack doesn't want to stink. Like, I literally created that, and you can do that. You can create your evil twin. All of these things, whatever works for you in your mind, or you can have your pocket jack as well, right? And you can have a little pocket jack on your shoulder that's just telling you, like, all right, man, like, you don't have to do the approaches, but you have to pay a price no matter what you do. So you either pay the price of going home disappointed in yourself and alone and not having maximized your opportunities, or you pay the price of pushing through the frustration and the annoyance to see what the opportunities bring you today, right? Yeah. Like, you can have a pocket jack that's going to be there and be like, hey, your choice, right? You can go either way, but he's just going to remind you every day that, remember, every choice has a cost, and no choice is also a choice.
Yes.
So literally everything you do has a cost. Be aware of what cost you're paying and weigh those, right? That's it. So yeah,
I think that's a perfect place to move into the last question of the night.
Yeah, that was a lot of.
We have two more questions, and we can really quickly. I will answer Jake's question first, and then I will run to the bathroom while you go on, and then I will also read Angel's question before I run off.
Okay.
So Jake's question is kind of a follow-up to the question we were just talking about, and that is, when is the best to call quits for the night? Too tired or too late at night, etc. And Angel's question is, what is the minimum you need to know about game if you don't know anything about it, if you want to end your cold streak? And to Jake's question, I still strongly believe in Ted Mosby's nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. And the thing is, it is so fucking true.
Yeah.
Usually after 2 a.m., your beer goggles are so thick that you're most likely into desperation area. You can still do well, but most likely that's the case. So I will let Jack take it from here, and then I'll be right back.
Sure. Oh, look, there's young me. Hey, nice. Yeah, as far as what time to just wrap up the night and call it quits, I'm just kind of, I'm going to go a little bit more nuanced than Paul did there. If nothing has happened yet by 2 a.m., you're not seeing any signs of progression, you haven't found any girls to chat with, then yeah, 2 a.m. is probably where you're starting to get into desperation mode, or where you're starting to get into fuck it, anyone will do mode. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to cut the night and end it, but it probably means you're just like, all right, cool. Well, tonight has just transformed into a boys' night, and we're just going to hang out. We're just going to talk and drink and, act like fucking jackasses or whatever it is. But if things are going well, because you can meet a girl at 12:30 and then, 2:00 rolls around, you're not going to turn into a pumpkin Cinderella, right? Like, you can keep things moving and you can keep on having fun. I would generally advise towards, like, if you've met a girl that night, the time between meeting and trying to make your exit together should be maximum 3 hours. More realistically, you're looking about an hour and a half to 2 hours from first meeting, assuming that you're having drinks the whole time. The reason that I'm capping it there is because if she's drinking for more than 3 hours with you, whether she was drinking before or after doesn't matter. She's gonna get too drunk and it's gonna get too messy, and you don't want to deal with any of that shit. So yeah, I would say you can roll with the 2 a.m. loose, like if nothing has happened yet and there's no signs of anything happening, right? Now maybe you're on a pub crawl, right? Like that time that Paul and I did the live stream from a pub crawl. I'm not sure what time we finished, what time the pub crawl finished, right? We dipped out before they went to the nightclub stuff. But if you're in a situation like that where there is objective promise of things to come, right? There are still new things to happen. You can play with it a little bit. It's situational. However, know thyself, right? Like, you know when you're too drunk to be successful, and you know when it's too late for you. Stallion is a brilliant example to prove the rule. Like, he's the exception that proves the rule, because I don't think I ever saw him take a girl home before 2 a.m. But after 2 a.m., he hit his golden hours. And so figure out for yourself where it lands. For me, it's actually like 11 to 1. That's like my golden time, because I drink like I'm about to die that night and we're just celebrating my death, right? Like, whenever I start, I drink. And so I have about a 2 to 3 hour window there where I'm still able to be my full self. After that, I start turning into Tweedledee and Tweedledum, right? Like, foreshadowing. But you need to figure out for yourself where it is that you land, how nights usually work for you. The time isn't nearly as important as what you're doing and how you're acting. Because the same way, like on my birthday, when I got started at 2 p.m., then I was dead by 10-11, obviously, right? So know where your window is and play with that to whatever your priorities are. You can, if you want to just show up to the party at 1 a.m., 2 hours of drinking is enough. 3 or more and she will die, or your third leg is not going to work. Yeah.
I can do a story time on this one, because the reason why I say like nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. is because every time for me, and like, first of all, I love How You Met Your Mother. So for me, that is one of the best TV shows that is like comedian, like kind of making funny of the whole pickup scene.
Yeah.
But I really like that part of it. And because every time I do, it goes fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And the last time that happened, I was out here in Korea, had a pretty good night, probably had almost 10 numbers in a night. But for some reason, none of them actually went through when we talked there and then. Either it was friend cock blocking, mother hands, my friends fucking up, doesn't matter. Eventually, it turns out to be it's 5 a.m. in the morning. We're like, okay, we're just so smashed. This is just fucked up. Let's go to Monster Pizza, have a slice, and go to fucking sleep. walking down to Monster Pizza, coming from one of the bars in the area on the upside down corner, Thursday party, whatever.
Sure.
Walking down there, and then on the left there is a bar, which is the open one.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
We see there are two girls sitting on separate tables alone at
Okay.
5 a.m.
Okay.
Someone has to fix this problem, right?
Okay.
So we're on our way to get pizza, and I'm like, yeah, just give me a minute. Go in there, sit down with one of the girls. I would probably have banged her even if I was sober, but at that point, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, talk to this girl, and I don't really remember leaving, but Julius told me that I had been there in less than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went home.
Mm-hmm.
Just as JJ says, the third leg is not working. You're a whiskey dick from here to hell. That's fine. We can go to sleep and then we can do it in the morning. Problem
Okay.
is, when you do that at 5 a.m.,
You're not waking up in the morning.
no. And the thing is, that day I was still so drunk when I woke up, I still had fucking whiskey dick, so it wasn't really fixed.
Oh no.
But yeah, nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m.
Okay. Well,
A lot of you guys were out with me the next day, which worked way better, and I went home at 12:30.
with someone.
Yes, of course.
Right. So that still stands to my point of like, if you've got something going, take it. One of the biggest mistakes that I used to be awful about this is I enjoy partying more than I enjoy going home with the girl. Right? Like, I mean, I enjoy that part. That's fun. I like it. But I like partying more. And so I would get a girl and she would be interested in me. And we'd have chemistry. Everything's going. We're flirting. We're escalating. We're having a lot of fun. Everything's great. And I'm like, awesome. Well, let's go on to the next bar. And she's like, oh, okay. I cock-blocked myself so many times by just being like, I don't want to go home.
I will stretch that a little further and say, yes, Jack is amazing at picking up girls. Being your wingman, on the other hand, that part can fuck you over. But it's really fun.
Honestly, man, like I spent so many years just rolling solo dolo everywhere that I went. That's just my training,
Yeah, right.
And when you get fucked up, your training kicks in.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing, right? That is why some people would be very good with picking up girls, but very bad wingmen, and some will be very good wingmen, even if they're not the best at picking up girls, because they don't really need to pick them up; they just need to entertain them.
Yeah. Yeah. I am an excellent wingman if you can catch me before the fifth drink. Right? Like in that. So basically, like in the first hour or so that I arrive.
Yeah, basically, but there's only me and you still drinking at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before the fifth drink.
Well, yeah. So yeah, if you get me in a situation like that, like a couple of weeks ago when I was out with, this was the week before you got here, and I walked in and I came a little bit later. And so I met the guys there and they were already a little bit loose, right? Because most guys can feel 2 drinks, right? For me, that's the warm up in the cab on the way over. What are you talking about, right? Like, I don't. That's the stretching before the sprint. So I showed up and immediately I was like, oh, I see 2 of you guys, and this is guys from the community. I see 2 of you guys are here alone. Okay, hold on just 1 second. y'all are going to play beer pong with, give me a moment. And I walked back 30 seconds later with 2 cute Japanese girls. And I was like, with them, here you go. Now, you guys figure out the rock, scissors, paper on who's going to be on whose team. You guys know how to rig this, right? And you figure this out, and I'm going to go buy the beer pong. I'll be right back. And then, cool, I can set it up. I can wingman that. And then when one of them started to falter, I stepped in so that it wouldn't blow up the other guy's set. Like, sober or sober adjacent Jack is a pretty solid wingman. I can make shit happen. However, you come up to 2 a.m. Jack, and you're like, listen, all I need you to do is nothing. Okay? Just chit chat with her. Just give her like the really, wow, tell me more. Oh, that's so interesting, right? Give her your basic bitch stuff. Can't do that, buddy. You know that. I can't do that. I'll blow shit up like nobody's business at 3 a.m.
The reason I brought this up is because that is the last part of Angel's question, is what's the pros and cons of a wingman during trying to break a cold streak. And I think this explains it. Like, they can be your best dude and they can fix it for you, or they can screw you sideways and make the cold streak last a month longer.
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily, so me is a perfect example. It's not necessarily because they're a bad wingman or they're bad with girls.
Bad timing. Bad timing.
Timing, right? Like knowing what your situation is. Okay, I'll put it to you this way. If your goal is to break your cold streak, I might be supportive in your goal, but it's not my goal. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to succeed. And if I can help you, I will. But deep down, it's not my goal.
Yeah, and also, like, you as the wingman, you're not going to fuck up your night to achieve the other person's goal unless your goal is purely to help that other guy out, right?
Even then, it's never pure, right? Like, there's no such thing as true altruism in the world. That doesn't really exist. But, you know, like if I'm going out for a night out and I'm going to try to help you break your cold streak, I'm trying to help you. That doesn't mean that I am simply a tool that you can reach into your pocket and pull out when you need, right?
Oh, you're still going to have fun doing it.
Exactly.
I think that is a very important thing to remember, that whenever you do go out with a wingman, because this is something a lot of people, especially when they're new at this, forget about wingman. The wingman also has to have fun, right?
Well, and you need to know your wingman.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of things about that, right? Like, one thing that you can always guarantee, you can trust this to be true 100% of the time. You can trust Jack to be Jack. Now, that might be a good thing, and it might be a bad thing, depending on your situation.
5 drink or 16 drink Jack.
Huh?
It depends on whether you get 5 drink or 16 drink Jack.
But you can trust Jack to be Jack, which means if you want 5 drink Jack, you need to get him out sober at the time that you want, right? Plan for that. Work within that frame. Or don't call Jack, right? Call somebody who is like, oh, I'm a moderate drinker. You know, I'll have like 2 or 3 drinks, and then I'll drink some water for an hour or 2, and then I'll have another beer maybe. And like, cool. If you have a friend like that who's also good with women, use that instead. Because as much as I want to help you, I'm gonna be me no matter what. You can trust Paul to be Paul. You can trust Julius to be Julius. You can trust the sober bitch ass who's drinking water at the bar to be the sober bitch ass who's drinking water at the bar. Like, you can trust people to be themselves, but you cannot trust them to do something different. You can ask them to try, and they might try, but it's not something you can count on.
And then the last thing I would say is, like, it's a very important thing, like, you know your wingman, right?
Yeah.
And there are some dynamics, and I would say mine and Julius is usually works like this. So my game kind of goes like this the more I drink until a certain point, and then it dips. But the clue is, when does my game and Caesar's wingman skills, where do they interject? Because
Right.
there is a golden zone there that we're like, okay, we're at drink 10, 11, and now we're like, just the dynamic is just amazing.
Yeah.
And it works every single time, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
And that is how you have to pick your wingman, right?
Yeah.
Because it also has, like, even though Caesar is an amazing, Julius is an amazing wingman for me,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean he's going to be an amazing wingman for everyone, because the dynamic is not the same.
Of course. Of course.
And that is like, you have to find someone that is both good with women, a good wingman in general, but also the combination of, the golden ratio of wingman, as Jude is saying here. I like that. But yeah, that is a true thing. Like, there is definitely a golden ratio of where, like, the interjection of where you are good enough with women and he is good enough to wing you, where it actually just is pure magic.
Another thing to point out is that the way your energies work together is really important, because so Rich and I'm a terrible wingman for Rich, because Rich and we always, like, we one up each other's energy every 30 minutes or so, and we just get so pumped on each other that we blow up everything in the bar. I'm a terrible wingman for Rich, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing good or bad about it. It's just noticing the reality. Because of the way that our energy works together, it fucks up everything else. So I can't be a good wingman for him.
The way me and you work, like, I lag, your energy level is very high.
Yeah.
And then as I get drunker, I kind of mimic your energy level more and more until a certain point. But we get to this balance where it's like, I am still less energy than you.
Yes.
But it has to be that way.
Yeah, which is very good, right? Like, you want
the question is, the problem for us is usually, by the time I get to where I can mimic it high enough, you're way above the limit where you can be my wingman. But that's how it is, right?
Whose fault is that, slowpoke? No, so yeah, finding somebody who you match their energy well, and it doesn't mean equal energy, right? It means complementary energy, right? Yeah. Like the damn puzzle pieces on my logo. You want your Sonny and Cher, you want all that, right? You need the energy levels to complement one another. The night that we met Bella and Titties was a good dynamic between me and you, because I was way over the top, but I was way over the top at Titties. Yeah. Right. And that left you the proper opening to go for the quieter, more serious, and more attractive girl. So like that can work really well.
The thing is, on that day, like, I considered my game that day, I considered to be so bad because I was so fucking hungover.
Yeah, but
it worked out.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding the right energies can match really well. What was the first part of Angel's question? Because I think that we jumped over it.
I think so. What was it? Like, what's the minimum level of game for that? I think, like, there is no minimum. It's just you still have to do your shit.
What's the most? So let's say that you currently know nothing. You have no skills. Every time that you try to talk to a girl, you're completely rejected. What is the minimum viable product where, like, these are the things that I have to learn to have some success, right?
Then I would just say banter. Like, if you can learn wit and banter, you will probably be okay enough to at least break a cold. You're not going to be 100% consistent, but you will be able to get through just fine.
I would take it down a bit lower than that even. I would say, listen, if you can get a 2 to 3 minute conversation of banter, of ramble, if you can get that solid, right? So that it's fun, it's entertaining, it's engaging, it gets her interested, turns the interest into a little bit of attraction. And then from there, you just play the hook question game, right? Where you let her talk about herself forever. That is a minimum viable level of game where you need to be able to do the approach. You have to do the approach. Guys think like, oh, well, I have no game, so I'll just get on a dating app. And it's like, what? You have no game, so you're going to the NFL tryouts? Like, what the fuck are you doing? No. What? Like, that everybody is on the dating apps, and the dudes with the best game are also on the dating apps. Don't put yourself in the pool with them, right? You're fucking up by doing that. You need to be able to do the approaches, okay? You do the approach. You have about a 2 to 3 minute conversation. This is all that's on your shoulders that you must be able to do. And then from there, you just play the hook, question, follow up kind of game, which, like I've explained before, whenever a girl says something, you can take any noun from that sentence and then use that to ask a question about it, right? So if she says like, oh, by the way, I'm meeting my friends at Thursday party later. Cool. You can talk about Thursday party. You can talk about her friends. You can talk about later, which I know isn't a noun, but fuck you, grammar nerds. In all seriousness, though, like you can use that, just any noun in there. Oh, cool. Which, like, how many friends are you meeting? Is it a big group? Is it someone's birthday? Or why aren't they here yet? Did they have to work late? Or, oh, are they like strippers so they don't finish until 2 a.m.? Is that what the thing is? Or, oh, why Thursday party? Do you go there often? You know, one of my favorite things about Thursday party is that they have these really big, like 2-hander Long Island iced teas for $10. It's amazing. It's the most fuck for your buck that you can possibly get. What's your favorite drink at Thursday party? Oh, later. I mean, when is that, right? Is that like next week? Or you mean in 30 minutes from now? What are you talking about? Like, so what's the plan? All of those different questions can come from that small sentence. So you just listen, you find the hooks, which is literally any noun, and then you swing on the hook and you go further down. Ask a question, she gives you more hooks, you swing further down. That's the easiest level of game that if you can do that, you can break your cold streak. Now, like Paul said, you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to be 100%. If you learn some wit and some banter, you learn how to entertain, if you learn how to push, how to pull, if you learn how to build up physical escalation, if you learn how to tease and create that energy, but then pull it away. If you learn that stuff, you can be a lot more consistent. But your minimum level to just break your cold streak and, you know what? Fuck it. Let's smash. There you go. Do the approaches. Have about a 2 to 3 minute conversation that you can lead, and then be able to follow hooks and ask questions. Get her to talk about things that she's interested in. If you can do that, you can master it. Or rather, you can break your cold streak. You know what? Actually, I like that as a topic. The how to, so the hook stuff is basically how to never run out of things to talk about, right? where you find things and then you monkey branch across. I think that might be our topic for next week's live stream. I think I'm gonna have the kids start making the thumbnails earlier and start sending out like email blasts so that everybody has time to prepare and can follow along with that.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, guys. I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up now. We've been going for over 2 hours. It's been a
very long one today.
It's a good one though. You know what they say. It's bigger, longer, and uncut. That was the South Park movie. I like that. That was a funny one. Anyway, that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. So, thank you for joining. Oh, I always forget this shit, but if you've made it this far somehow and you haven't done it yet, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You guys know the YouTube jazz. Honestly, the like button helps us more than anything because zero investment on your part, costs you nothing, and it helps the algorithm know that we aren't just spewing bullshit out into the ether. So help me out, help me help you, help me help you. Like Jerry fucking Maguire, just hit that thumbs up button. It makes all the difference in the world. I really do appreciate it. And until next week, gents. Oh, and for those of you who are in Korea, don't miss out on tomorrow night. Paul's birthday. We're gonna be getting fucked up.
Birthday party.
It's your birthday now. Happy birthday, Paul! So join us tonight in Hongdae. Probably by the time that you arrive, we're gonna be fucked up.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm gonna meet Paul early and get started early because I need to finish early. But you know, come join. It'll be fun. I can't guarantee that there will be women who want to be anywhere near us, but we'll be having fun anyway. Yes, thanks, Coot. I appreciate you sticking around this long and paying attention. Coot, you're a fucking champion. An absolute legend, I tell you. Anyway, gents, one final cheers with chaps.
Cheers.
Boom. And until next week, boys, Papa Jack out. All right, let's kill it.